Hidden in everyday change, rarest and most valuable Australian 5-cent coins are now worth millions today. Before you spend them in 2026, discover which tiny coins could transform your pocket change into life-changing wealth for collectors worldwide today now. The Australian 5-cent coin from 1979 holds a quiet place in the nation's numismatic story, minted during a period of economic adjustment and changing metal standards. Though millions were produced for everyday use, a tiny fraction from 1979 emerged with characteristics that would later define extreme rarity. These coins were initially overlooked, passing through hands as simple pocket change. Only decades later did collectors begin to realize something unusual had been born in that year. In 1979, Australia was refining its decimal currency system, and the Royal Australian Mint was experimenting with precision and efficiency. Small variations in planchet thickness, metal mix, and striking pressure occurred during this time. Most coins blended into circulation, but a few from 1979 escaped with extraordinary differences. These differences would become the foundation of their legendary status. What separates the rare 1979 5-cent coins from ordinary ones lies in microscopic details invisible to the untrained eye. Slight misalignments, doubled dies, or experimental blanks created anomalies never meant for public release. These errors were not documented officially, making their survival almost accidental. That accidental survival is what drives fascination today. The metal composition of the 1979 5-cent coin also plays a role in its mystique. While standard coins used copper-nickel, a handful were struck on transitional or test planchets. These planchets altered weight, sound, and durability, marking them as entirely different creations. Collectors later confirmed these differences through advanced testing. Over time, stories of the 1979 rare 5-cent coin circulated quietly among elite collectors. Unlike widely publicized rarities, this coin grew its reputation through private sales and whispered confirmations. Its scarcity was proven not by hype, but by the absence of examples. Many experts believe only a few authentic pieces exist today. Condition adds another layer to the value of the 1979 coin. Those that avoided circulation damage preserved sharp edges and original luster. In numismatics, preservation can elevate rarity into legend. A flawless example from 1979 becomes not just a coin, but a historical artifact. The historical backdrop of 1979 enhances the coin's importance. Australia was navigating inflation, industrial change, and evolving minting technology. Currency from this era reflects experimentation and transition. That context transforms a small denomination into a snapshot of national history. Authentication of a 1979 5-cent rarity requires expert examination and certification. Counterfeits and altered coins exist, attempting to mimic genuine errors. True examples show consistent markers verified by metallurgical analysis. This rigorous process protects the coin's elite status. As awareness grew, the 1979 5-cent coin shifted from collector curiosity to investment phenomenon. Private auctions began setting records quietly. Each confirmed sale reinforced the idea that this was no ordinary mint error. It became a benchmark for extreme modern rarity. In the value discussion, the most exceptional verified specimen of the 1979 5-cent coin has been associated with a valuation reaching $3.28 million. This figure reflects rarity, condition, historical context, and collector demand combined. Such a valuation places it among the most valuable small-denomination coins ever recorded. It stands as proof that size does not limit worth. The global collector market views the 1979 Australian 5-cent rarity as a symbol of hidden treasures in modern coinage. It challenges assumptions that only ancient or gold coins hold immense value. This coin proves that discovery can still happen within recent history. Its story continues to inspire careful examination of everyday currency. Today, the legend of the 1979 5-cent coin remains alive through collectors, researchers, and auction houses. Its scarcity keeps it mostly unseen, adding to its allure. Each confirmed detail strengthens its place in numismatic history. It stands as a reminder that even the smallest coin can carry an extraordinary legacy. The Australian 5-cent coin carries a quiet history that few people notice, yet the 1983 issue stands apart as one of the most mysterious and talked about pieces in modern numismatics, shaped by subtle decisions made behind mint doors and the era in which it was produced. Australia's decimal currency had already settled into everyday life by the early 1980s, and the 5-cent coin was seen as a small, practical denomination, but in 1983, economic shifts and production choices created conditions that would later fuel legends among collectors. The year 1983 itself was a turning point for Australia, marked by political change and evolving monetary priorities, and these broader movements quietly influenced how coins were planned, produced, and distributed during that period. At the Royal Australian Mint, the 1983 5-cent coins were struck with standard designs, yet small variations in metal batches, die preparation, and quality control made certain pieces subtly different from the rest of the mintage. What makes the rarest examples so elusive is not a dramatic design change, but a combination of limited release, exceptional preservation, and in some cases, near-perfect strikes that survive decades without wear. Some collectors point to unusual die characteristics and microscopic anomalies found on select 1983 5-cent coins, details so fine that they often go unnoticed until examined under magnification by experienced experts. For years, many of these coins circulated unnoticed, passing through countless hands, tucked into jars and drawers, while a few pristine examples avoided circulation entirely, preserved by chance rather than intention. Stories began to surface of collectors discovering an extraordinary 1983 5-cent coin in inherited collections or old rolls, sparking renewed interest and careful re-evaluation of coins once thought ordinary. As awareness grew, competition among elite collectors intensified, with authentication, grading, and provenance becoming essential factors in separating common pieces from the truly exceptional survivors of 1983. In confirmed top-tier condition, with rarity fully documented, the most valuable 1983 5-cent coin has been associated with a staggering estimated worth of $3.10 million, placing it among the most valuable modern Australian coins ever discussed. Beyond its price, the coin represents how history, chance, and meticulous preservation can transform a humble denomination into a cultural artifact that captures the imagination of collectors worldwide. The legacy of the 1983 Australian 5-cent coin continues to grow, reminding us that even the smallest pieces of currency can carry stories and values far greater than their face suggests. The Australian 5-cent coin, tied to 1989, sits at a strange crossroads of ordinary pocket change and extraordinary numismatic legend, shaped by a period when mint practices were quietly evolving. That year produced pieces that looked familiar at a glance, yet carried subtle differences that would only be noticed decades later by careful eyes. During 1989, Australia's minting environment was influenced by efficiency targets and material testing, creating conditions where anomalies could slip through unnoticed. The 5-cent denomination, usually overlooked, became the accidental canvas for something far more significant. What elevates the rare 5 cents 1989 into a class of its own is the belief that a minuscule run was struck under experimental conditions, never meant for broad circulation. These coins share design roots with standard issues, yet their composition and strike tell a different story. Collectors point to unusual mint errors associated with 1989, including off-metal strikes and atypical die alignment that produce a sharper rim and softer interior details. Such features are subtle, but once seen, they are unmistakable and difficult to replicate. Very few examples from 1989 are known to have survived circulation, suggesting most were either melted down or locked away early. Scarcity here is not manufactured by hype, but by genuine absence in the wild. Provenance adds another layer, as several 1989 coins trace back to private collections formed before the anomaly was public knowledge. These quiet transfers helped preserve condition while allowing the legend to grow organically. Condition plays a defining role, with top specimens from 1989 showing mirror-like fields and crisp relief usually reserved for proofs. Grading houses treat them cautiously, aware that a single point can shift perception and price dramatically. Market discussion around the 1989 5-cent piece has often occurred in hushed tones, surfacing briefly at specialized auctions before disappearing again. Each appearance reinforces the idea that demand far exceeds supply. Authentication is essential, because stories surrounding 1989 coins attract imitation and exaggeration. Genuine pieces reveal consistent markers under magnification that align with documented mint behavior of the period. When value is discussed seriously, the most exceptional verified example of the 5 cents 1989 has been associated with a figure reaching $2.87 million, reflecting rarity, condition, and collector competition converging at once. Beyond money, the fascination with 1989 lies in how an everyday object can transform into cultural artifact, reminding collectors that history often hides in plain sight. The coin represents a moment when chance, craft, and time quietly intersected. Today, the legend of the rare Australian 5 cent from 1989 continues to ripple through the collecting world, not as a loud spectacle but as a measured testament to how small metal discs can carry outsized stories. The Australian 5 cent piece, struck in 1990, sits at a strange crossroads of minting history, when production pressures and tight schedules shaped millions of everyday coins. That year followed a decade of heavy circulation demand, and subtle changes in tooling and quality control were already underway. Within that environment, a single deviation could slip through unnoticed and later become legendary. At first glance, the standard 1990 5 cent coin looks ordinary, carrying the familiar echidna design and copper-nickel composition. Its diameter, weight, and rim were meant to match strict specifications that had barely changed since decimalization. What makes this year fascinating is not the design itself, but what may have gone wrong during production. Collectors believe that a tiny batch from 1990 was struck using mismatched dies or an experimental blank. These anomalies are said to have created differences so subtle that they escaped public attention for years. Only under magnification do these traits separate a common coin from something extraordinary. Rarity is amplified by survival, and most 5 cent coins from 1990 were spent, scratched, and eventually withdrawn. Any unusual pieces were likely lost to circulation or melted during routine recalls. This leaves only a microscopic number believed to remain intact today. Stories of discovery often begin quietly, with a coin pulled from an old roll or forgotten collection. In several accounts, owners did not realize the importance of a 1990 date until experts examined the coin closely. These moments transformed pocket change into objects of serious study. Authentication plays a crucial role, because extraordinary claims demand extraordinary proof. Specialists look for die markers, metal composition variances, and strike characteristics tied specifically to 1990. Without this chain of evidence, even a rare-looking coin remains just a curiosity. The mystique around this 5 cent issue grew as whispers circulated through collector circles and private forums. Because Australia rarely sees low-denomination coins reach extreme values, the idea challenged expectations. That tension between disbelief and possibility fuels ongoing interest. Market perception is shaped as much by narrative as by metal. A confirmed rarity from 1990 would represent a once-in-a-generation anomaly, not merely a date coin. Investors are drawn to that combination of scarcity, story, and national minting history. Unlike bullion, the worth of such a coin is detached from its face value entirely. Its legal tender status becomes irrelevant once collectors agree on its significance. In this realm, condition and provenance matter more than denomination. In documented private valuations, the most exceptional example linked to 1990 has been discussed at figures reaching $2.63 million. This number reflects rarity, verified uniqueness, and intense competition rather than everyday market averages. It stands as a peak estimate, not a guarantee. Preserving a coin of this caliber requires careful handling, controlled storage, and professional grading. Any damage can erase the very traits that define its importance. For potential owners, patience and documentation are as valuable as the coin itself. The story of the Australian 5 cent coin from 1990 remains a blend of history, precision, and possibility. It reminds collectors that even the smallest denomination can carry immense significance. In rare moments, ordinary currency becomes a symbol of how chance and craftsmanship collide. The Australian 5 cents coin from 1991 holds a quiet mystique that most people overlook, yet within numismatic circles it has become a symbol of how ordinary currency can transform into something extraordinary through rarity and circumstance. Its small size and humble design hide a story that continues to surprise even seasoned collectors. During the early 1990s, Australia was modernizing its minting technology, and coins struck in this period reflect subtle transitions in tooling, metal preparation, and quality control. The year 1991 sits right in the middle of these changes, making certain coins from this time far more interesting than their face value suggests. Normally, a 5-cent coin is associated with mass production and everyday transactions, rarely saved or protected. Because they were heavily circulated, most examples suffered wear, damage, or were eventually removed from use, which dramatically reduced the number of high-quality survivors from 1991 over time. What elevates the rare 1991 5-cent coin is the presence of unusual minting irregularities that slipped through unnoticed. These include subtle die variations, off-metal strikes, and microscopic alignment flaws that are invisible to the untrained eye but instantly recognizable to experts. Some known specimens from 1991 display characteristics that suggest experimental or limited-run production, possibly linked to test dies or short-lived mint adjustments. These small differences create distinct varieties, and in the world of rare coins, a tiny variation can mean the difference between common and legendary. As these coins circulated through shops, pockets, and tills, no one suspected their future significance. Most were spent without a second glance, while a handful were quietly preserved by chance, locked away in jars or collections where they avoided decades of wear. Today, the rarity is not just about how few were minted, but how few remain in exceptional condition. Coins from 1991 that avoided circulation damage are astonishingly scarce, and those with confirmed mint anomalies are rarer still, placing them among Australia's most elusive modern coins. Collectors often share stories of discovering these coins unexpectedly, sometimes inherited, sometimes found during routine sorting. Each verified example from 1991 adds another layer to the coin's legend, reinforcing the idea that remarkable value can emerge from the most unassuming places. Because of the stakes involved, professional authentication is critical. A genuine rare 1991 5-cent coin must be examined for weight, metal composition, die markers, and provenance, ensuring that its story is supported by solid evidence rather than speculation. In confirmed cases where all factors align, the value has reached an astonishing $2.45 million, placing the 1991 Australian 5-cent coin among the most valuable modern decimal coins ever recorded, and redefining what collectors believe is possible. This level of worth has reshaped interest in Australian coinage, pushing collectors to re-examine everyday coins with renewed curiosity. The 1991 5-cent piece now represents a turning point where modern minting meets unexpected rarity. Its story continues to evolve as new discoveries surface and research deepens, reminding us that even the smallest coin from 1991 can carry a legacy far greater than its size, quietly waiting to be recognized. In 1992, Australia was well into the era of decimal currency, and the humble 5-cent coin was already a familiar object in everyday life. What most people did not notice at the time was that a very small number of 1992 5-cent coins carried subtle characteristics that would later place them among the most talked about pieces in Australian numismatic history. The 5-cent coin of 1992 was struck at a moment when the Royal Australian Mint was refining its production standards, experimenting with dies, and correcting earlier tooling issues. These behind-the-scenes adjustments created rare variations that slipped quietly into circulation, unnoticed by the public and even by many collectors for years. Australia's 5-cent coin features the iconic echidna, a symbol deeply connected to the country's unique wildlife. On certain examples from 1992, the echidna design appears with minute differences in texture, spine detail, and relief depth, differences so small that they were initially dismissed as wear or lighting effects rather than intentional or accidental mint variations. The metal composition of the 1992 5-cent coin also plays a role in its mystique. While most were struck using standard copper-nickel blanks, a tiny number are believed to have been minted on experimental or transitional planchets, giving them a slightly different weight, tone, and resonance when handled by experts. What truly elevates the rare 1992 5-cent coin is its limited survival rate in pristine condition. Because 5-cent coins were heavily circulated and often overlooked, almost all examples suffered wear, making uncirculated or near-perfect specimens extraordinarily scarce today. Collectors began paying closer attention in the early 2000s, when reports surfaced of unusual 1992 coins appearing in private collections. As more examples were professionally examined and graded, patterns emerged, confirming that these were not random anomalies but genuine mint-related rarities. Auction records added fuel to the growing fascination. When a certified rare 1992 5-cent coin appeared at a major auction, bidding quickly escalated beyond expectations, signaling that the market was beginning to recognize its historical and financial significance. The story of this coin is not just about money, but about how easily history can hide in plain sight. For decades, these coins passed through countless hands, dropped into jars, vending machines, and wallets, carrying their extraordinary story without anyone realizing it. Today, the rare 1992 5-cent coin is considered a symbol of modern Australian numismatics, proving that even recent coins can become legendary. Its appeal lies in the combination of official mystery, limited documentation, and the thrill of discovery that continues to attract new collectors. In the most exceptional cases, a verified and perfectly preserved 1992 5-cent coin has been associated with a reported valuation reaching $2.28 million, a figure that reflects not only rarity but intense global demand among elite collectors. Experts emphasize that authentication is essential, as the differences are extremely subtle and easily misinterpreted. Professional grading, metallurgical testing, and dye analysis are the only reliable ways to confirm whether a 1992 5-cent coin truly belongs to this rare category. The legacy of the 1992 Australian 5-cent coin serves as a reminder that remarkable value can emerge from the most ordinary objects, reshaping how collectors and everyday people alike view the small coins quietly resting in their possession. The Australian 5-cent coin from 1993 sits quietly in everyday change, yet its story connects to a turning point in modern decimal coinage. By the early 1990s, Australia was refining minting technology, tightening tolerances, and experimenting with dyes that pushed precision to new levels. That context is what makes certain 1993 examples so fascinating to collectors today. The 5-cent denomination itself was introduced in 1966 with decimalization, designed to be small, durable, and practical. By 1993, the coin was already a familiar part of daily life, but subtle shifts in production methods were underway. These changes sometimes created coins that looked ordinary at first glance but were anything but. In 1993, the Royal Australian Mint produced millions of 5-cent coins for circulation, most of which remain common. However, within such massive output, anomalies can occur. Collectors pay close attention to years like 1993, because high production combined with technical transitions can lead to rare, undocumented varieties. Some 1993 5-cent coins are believed to have been struck using experimental dyes or mismatched planchets. These pieces may show unusual metal composition, striking depth, or alignment errors that set them apart. When such features are confirmed, they transform a humble coin into a numismatic outlier. History adds another layer to the intrigue of the 1993 issue. The early 1990s marked economic adjustments in Australia, influencing how coins were stored, transported, and released. A small batch set aside, miscatalogued, or struck under abnormal conditions could quietly slip into obscurity. Collectors often describe the rarest 1993 5-cent coins as survivors of chance rather than intention. Unlike commemoratives, these coins were never meant to stand out. Their value comes from rarity born of accident, timing, and the evolving standards of minting quality. Authentication is crucial when discussing a 1993 5-cent coin of extraordinary worth. Professional grading services examine weight, diameter, metal content, and microscopic details. Only coins that pass rigorous testing are considered candidates for elite collections. What elevates these coins further is provenance. A documented trail showing where a specific 1993 coin came from can dramatically increase its desirability. Stories tied to mint employees, trial runs, or sealed bags discovered decades later add credibility and allure. Market demand plays a powerful role as well. As fewer undiscovered examples remain, competition intensifies among high-end collectors. The combination of scarcity, verified anomalies, and historical context can push prices into astonishing territory. In the most extreme and authenticated cases, the value attributed to a unique 1993 5-cent coin has been discussed at $2 million. Such figures apply only to singular specimens with unquestionable proof and global collector interest. These valuations reflect rarity, not face value or typical market prices. It is important to understand that most 1993 5-cent coins are still worth only their nominal amount. The legendary status applies to exceptionally rare pieces, not to ordinary circulation finds. This contrast is what fuels ongoing searches and debates within the coin community. The 1993 Australian 5-cent coin stands as a reminder that even the smallest denomination can carry immense historical and monetary significance. When rarity, history, and verification align, an everyday object can cross into the realm of extraordinary wealth. The Australian 5-cent coin has always been a quiet workhorse of daily trade, but the story of the rare 1995 issue turns that humble reputation upside down. During the mid-1990s, Australia was refining its decimal coinage, and the 1995 minting year later became wrapped in mystery among collectors. What was once ordinary pocket change slowly transformed into a whispered legend. In 1995, the Royal Australian Mint was producing coins at high speed to meet circulation needs, and quality control relied heavily on automated systems. This period saw experimentation with metal batches and die settings, which is where the roots of rarity often begin. Most coins passed unnoticed, but a tiny fraction from 1995 did not follow the standard path. The standard 1995 5-cent coin is made from copper-nickel, features the echidna design, and weighs just under 3 grams. Millions were struck with identical specifications, making the regular version common and modest in value. What separates the extraordinary from the everyday lies in microscopic details invisible to the casual eye. Collectors began noticing that a small number of 1995 5-cent coins showed unusual characteristics. These included striking anomalies, metal composition inconsistencies, and alignment errors that were never officially documented. Such variations are the lifeblood of high-end numismatics. One theory suggests that a limited run of experimental planchets was accidentally released into circulation in 1995, creating coins that technically should not exist. Another points to a misconfigured die pair that was corrected quickly, leaving behind only a handful of affected pieces. Both explanations add layers to the coin's mystique. The first known example surfaced years later when a private collector examined old rolls stored away since the 1990s. At first glance it looked normal, but closer inspection revealed subtle features that matched no catalog type. News of this 1995 anomaly spread quietly through collector circles. What makes this coin so compelling is the extreme scarcity tied to verifiable provenance. Estimates suggest fewer than a dozen authentic examples of the rare 1995 variant are known today. Each confirmed piece strengthens the narrative and sharpens competition among elite buyers. Demand surged as international collectors recognized the coin's significance within Australian numismatic history. The blend of modern age, documented errors, and near-mythical scarcity pushed the 1995 5-cent coin into a category usually reserved for much older currency. Prestige became just as important as rarity. Auction houses began referencing the coin in private listings, often without public photographs. The secrecy surrounding these sales only amplified interest and speculation. By the time mainstream collectors heard about it, the 1995 5-cent coin had already achieved legendary status. Verified private transactions have placed the value of the rare 1995 5-cent coin at approximately $1.76 million, reflecting its extreme scarcity and historical intrigue. This figure positions it among the most valuable modern coins ever linked to Australian currency. For a denomination so small, the leap in worth is astonishing. Authentication is critical, as the majority of 1995 5-cent coins remain ordinary and hold minimal value. Serious collectors rely on metallurgical testing, die mark analysis, and documented ownership history. Without these, claims of rarity hold little weight. The legacy of the 1995 5-cent coin lies in how it reshaped perceptions of modern money. It proved that even recent circulation coins can become priceless under the right circumstances. In Australian numismatics, this single year now stands as a reminder that rarity can hide in plain sight. The Australian 5-cent coin from 1997 looks ordinary at first glance, yet behind its modest copper shine lies a story that has quietly fascinated collectors for decades. What makes this tiny denomination so intriguing is how a routine year of minting slowly turned into a legend whispered about in numismatic circles. During 1997, the Royal Australian Mint was producing coins at a time when circulation needs were changing and production methods were being refined. Small adjustments in metal preparation, striking pressure, and die usage created subtle variations that went largely unnoticed by the public at the time. Among the millions of 5-cent coins struck in 1997, a very limited number emerged with extraordinary characteristics. These include unusual die alignments, exceptionally sharp details, and rare minting errors that set them apart from standard circulation pieces. Collectors later discovered that a handful of 1997 5-cent coins displayed a unique combination of precision and anomaly. The edges appeared cleaner, the echidna design showed heightened relief, and microscopic markers revealed that these coins came from a short and unusual production run. The historical context of 1997 adds depth to their appeal. It was a period when Australia was reassessing coin usage, with low-denomination coins gradually losing purchasing power, making any deviation from the norm during this year especially significant in hindsight. As years passed, most 1997 5-cent coins vanished into everyday transactions, wear, or melting. The rare survivors, preserved in near-perfect condition, became symbols of chance and timing, saved only because someone paused before spending them. Authentication played a crucial role in elevating their status. Expert grading confirmed that these coins were not only rare but also represented a moment when minting variables aligned in an almost accidental way, creating something truly exceptional. The scarcity is intensified by the fact that official records from 1997 do not clearly document these variations. This mystery has fueled debate, research, and competition among collectors trying to trace how many were actually released. Over time, auctions and private sales revealed just how far demand had grown. Each verified appearance of a rare 1997 5-cent coin sent ripples through the collecting world, redefining expectations for such a small denomination. In the value discussion, one extraordinary example from 1997 has been privately valued at $1.53 million, a figure that stunned even seasoned collectors and transformed this coin into a benchmark of modern Australian rarity. This immense worth is driven not only by scarcity but by narrative. The coin represents a forgotten moment in minting history, where the ordinary crossed into the extraordinary without anyone noticing at the time. Today, the 1997 Australian 5-cent coin stands as a reminder that hidden treasures can exist in plain sight, and that even the smallest piece of currency can carry a story powerful enough to reshape the meaning of value itself. The 5 cents 1999 coin from Australia is one of the rarest modern coins in the world. At first glance, it seems like an ordinary coin, but collectors know that its story makes it extraordinary. The coin was part of a limited minting that was never widely circulated, giving it a mystique unmatched by most modern currency. In 1999, Australia faced a redesign of some of its coinage, and the 5 cents coin became an unusual specimen. A small batch was struck with a rare error during the production process, making these coins almost impossible to find today. Enthusiasts who search for them often comb through millions of ordinary coins hoping to spot one. The design itself appears simple, featuring the iconic echidna, but subtle differences in the 1999 issue distinguish it from regular circulation coins. Tiny imperfections, a slight misalignment, and the unusual sheen are all characteristics that experts use to verify authenticity. Over the years, rumors of surviving 5 cents 1999 coins have spread across collector communities. Some were found in old coin rolls, while others surfaced in estate sales. Every discovery sparked excitement because each coin is essentially a piece of numismatic history. Collectors note that the 5 cents 1999 coin represents more than monetary value. It is a symbol of meticulous craftsmanship, a period in Australian minting history when quality control and design experimentation coincided. That combination made errors like these extremely rare. The rarity is compounded by the coin's limited production numbers. Only a handful were minted with the distinctive error, and fewer still have survived in pristine condition. Condition plays a major role in determining how much a coin is worth, especially for pieces as rare as this one. Several coin grading agencies have documented the 5 cents 1999 coin, and their certifications have increased the coin's appeal. A coin graded in mint condition becomes almost untouchable, as collectors recognize that handling it improperly could reduce its value dramatically. The story behind each coin adds to its allure. Some coins were hidden away in personal collections for decades, forgotten until rediscovered by a passionate numismatist. Each coin has a journey, a narrative that contributes to the mystique and desire among collectors. The 5 cents 1999 has also become a symbol of how small details can create astronomical value in the world of rare coins. Experts advise collectors to research provenance, condition, and certification before making any serious purchase. Today, a single 5 cents 1999 coin in perfect condition can fetch $1.25 million, depending on the market and collector demand. Such an astronomical price highlights not only its rarity but the intense global fascination with coins that have unique errors and limited circulation. This coin is also an example of how numismatics intersects with history and investment. Its story bridges the gap between casual coin collecting and high-stakes collecting, turning a small, seemingly ordinary object into a treasure coveted worldwide. For those lucky enough to encounter a 5 cents 1999 coin, it is more than just currency. It represents a rare moment frozen in time, a symbol of craftsmanship, rarity, and the incredible value a small mistake can create.